Hello and welcome to our news roundup for tonight. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received today a phone call from his French counterpart, Emmanuel Macron, during which the two presidents examined the evolution of relations between the two countries and evoked the latest developments, in particular the situation prevailing in Libya and Mali.
During the second day of his visit to the second military region, Major General Chief of Staff of the National People's Army Saeed Chengriha, accompanied by Major General Jamal Haj Larousi, acting commander of the second military region, and Major General Mohammed Larbi Hawli, commander of the naval forces, supervised the execution of the missile firing exercise on a surface target at the level of the firing range of the west maritime facade of Mars al-Kabir in Oran. The Major General followed a presentation on the stages of the exercise executed by the crew of the missile board of the naval forces. The shooting was carried out successfully, the target having been reached with great precision, which constitutes a new success and one of the fruit of the good mastery by the crew of the different equipment and weapons, and this also confirms the progress and operational readiness achieved by the units of the Algerian naval forces. The Major General of the Army met with the executives and the personnel of the maritime facade, where he delivered a guidance speech. The Major General of the Army met with the executives and the personnel of the maritime facade, where he delivered a guidance speech which was broadcast to all naval forces units via video conference, in which he affirmed that the execution of such firing exercises on maritime objectives constitutes a real test of the weapon systems of this missile launcher building and qualifies the results obtained as encouraging and in perfect adequacy with the objective set. The Major General congratulated all the personnel who participated in the execution of this exercise, each in their position of responsibility and within the limits of their skills. He added that for the first results of this exercise, which were promising, in perfect harmony with our ambition and likely to reinforce our determination to work harder, to develop know-how, to improve skills, and to capitalize on the experience acquired during this exercise, whose results will allow us to move forward. The Major General recalled that the scope of the steps taken by the High Command of the National People's Army does not only aim to heighten the operational and financial capacities of our naval forces, but it also aims to give the Algerian Navy the place that it deserves. This Navy, which lived through our glorious history, its golden age, was undoubtedly the first naval power and constituted a formidable force in the Mediterranean Sea. The Major General added that this glorious past, in addition to being a source of pride, strengthens our determination to put our naval forces back on track and to make it a deterrent force whose notoriety is like that of independent Algeria, and its roots revolutionary and secular, and whose combative and operational capacities are able to respond to the multiple issues and challenges to which our world is now exposed, and to correspond to the constitutional missions which are assigned to them. In order to achieve this noble objective, the High Command has given great interest to the naval forces, whether in terms of equipment and provision of all types of modern materials, competent human resources, and infrastructure. The Major General finally listened to the interventions of the executives and personnel of the naval forces, who displayed an unchanging commitment to meet all the challenges for the defense of the security and stability of the country, as well as for the safeguarding of our national sovereignty.
A humanitarian aid of 100 tons of food and medicine are on the way to Niger. They will be transported on board of 3 Algerian military aircrafts to Agadez International Airport. The caravan was launched by the head of the Algerian Red Crescent, Saïda bin Habilis. She said that through this gesture, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, highlighted the solidarity of the Algerian people with the brotherly Nigerian citizens. Mrs. bin Habilis seized the opportunity to express gratitude to the National People's Army units ANP that spared no effort to make this kind of operations successful. And this aid consists of 90 tons of essential foodstuffs and 10 tons of medicine.
397 new confirmed cases of coronavirus were registered in Algeria during the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 43,016, while 271 people have recovered and left hospitals, bringing the overall number to 30,157. 10 new deaths were also recorded, bringing the number of mortalities to 1,475, according to the spokesman of the National Commission in charge of monitoring the evolution of the coronavirus pandemic, Professor Jamal Fourar, in his daily briefing. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, more than 30,000 Algerians have been repatriated since last March, the date of the start of repatriation operations for nationals stranded abroad due to the COVID-19 pandemic. an operation that includes 4 stages, during which all the necessary means were put in place by the Algerian authorities. The latest arrivals concern 2 planes from Paris and Casablanca, knowing that 2 new flights are scheduled for August 28th and 29th from Paris airport.
Still with the repatriation operations of the Algerians stranded abroad, which continued on Wednesday evening, joyful nationals arrived in the international airport of Oran from Casablanca in Morocco on board of an Air Algérie flight. The returnees expressed their relief to find their homes and families. The authorities concerned have ensured all the necessary conditions for their accommodation at the level of 2 hotels with a capacity of 240 beds, intended to allow them to spend their confinement period in compliance with the health protocol in force. This repatriation operation is the 14th of its kind at the level of Oran International Airport since the pandemic's outbreak. That's it for our news roundup. Thanks for joining us. Good night.